All right, welcome back to Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place for all of us. I'm Chris Wright, along with John Garlick from the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. Glad to see you. Glad to see you, John.
Glad to be here. Glad to see you and all of them, even though we can't see them.
Glad to not see any snow.
Oh,
That's melted away, thank goodness.
that's melted away.
It was fun, but it was also, whew.
So it got me out of putting those decorative lights on all the bushes in front of my house that my wife wanted because they were all covered in snow.
Decorated in snow.
I was like, honey, I can't really hang these lights. The snow is all over. I'm going to get a shock. And she bought it, so yeah.
Good job. All right. Oh, let's see. The snow really gets us into the feeling, though, of the holiday season. We are really close to Christmas now. And kids are going to be out of school here, and a lot of things that parents need to be thinking about.
Yeah, so it's a fun time of year, and everybody's busy. And like I say, kids are out, they're home. Parents are at work, kids are at home. And there's a lot of stuff to be paying attention to as a parent. You know, watch what your kids are doing, particularly social media and who they're talking to and all that, and then where they're going. And then we've got all the folks that are going shopping, and the exchange will be backed up from, I-20 all the way to Piedmont. And people will just be running around, rushing and buying stuff and leaving it in their car. We really think about putting all your presents in the car. People look in your car, they see all those cool things that you just bought, and next thing you know, they're Christmas shopping. Yeah.
Use your trunk, maybe have a blanket in your car to cover some things up. You just don't leave it where people can see it, because if they see it, they will break the window to get in there.
They will, and don't leave it at home in your driveway. I'll take these out later and wrap it. No, don't do it. In fact, we had a burglary arrested this weekend who actually had a shopping list, and she was driving around looking for what she wanted to steal that was on her.
Wow.
She was looking for a four-wheeler. So I need to get a four-wheeler. So nice. Yeah, they're out there.
Well, some of them, though, have been caught. Thank goodness. A large part thanks to the viewers of the show.
We had 3, I think, is the count this week. So we're up to 4,083 people arrested based on information from the good people of Calhoun County.
And we're going to raise that number up even higher this week. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll have the first half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up this week, as in weeks past, Remington Johnson, last known to be living in Birmingham. He's wanted for murder. We're still looking for him. Please give us some information on this guy. We'd like you to take a look at Brittany Worley. Miss Worley, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted for violation of bond conditions on possession of a controlled substance and theft by deception second. And meet Dorinda Grubb. Miss Grubb, last known to be living in Jacksonville. She's wanted for failure to pay on assault third. And this is Amber McDaniel. Miss McDaniel, last known to be living in Alexandria. She's wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance and possession of marijuana second. And meet Terry Winslet. Winslet, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to pay on negotiating lots of worthless checks. And meet Johnny Hargrove. Mr. Hargrove, last known to be living in Ohatchee. He's wanted for failure to pay on unlawful manufacture of a controlled substance. And last up, for the first half of our lineup, Heather McGrath. Miss McGrath, last known to be living in Jacksonville. She's wanted for failure to pay on writing multiple worthless checks. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show.
All right, we'll get back to the bad guys in just a little bit, but right now we're going to be joined by somebody that if we need help catching somebody in a high-speed chase, he might be able to be the man for us. Cruz Skinner is joining us. Good to see you, Cruz.
Absolutely. Good to see you, too.
All right, now, a lot of folks are saying he doesn't need an introduction, but for people who don't know, you are a professional driver at the age of 16 and have been for long enough to have won how many races at this point?
Over 360 wins.
Over 300. That's more than Bear Bryant. Now, not that he was driving, but still, I mean, that's a lot of wins.
Yeah, sir. I've been very fortunate to be able to put in the position I've been put in, and be in a position to be able to compete in that many races. Imagine winning that many. Yeah. I've been very blessed from a young age to have a great supporting family, and who's always let me go out there and do what I do.
So you drive on the dirt late model driver. Okay, so I don't follow the driving. I see a little bit of NASCAR. That's about all I ever see. So I'll admit to being a little bit ignorant on what you're doing here, but I'm still very much impressed with what you've managed to accomplish. When did you first get out there and drive as a professional?
I started racing go-karts when I was 5 years old. We raced all across the Southeast, and I had 300 wins in a go-kart with over 5 championships across 5 years. Me and my sister both raced, and we'd go around travel, and if we ended up in the same race together, whoever won, we'd tease each other all the way home, and brother sister type thing. Yeah. Then when I was 10 years old, I moved into what they call a hot shot car or a buzz car division, and those cars are actually what you will see on the road. They're front wheel drive V6 cars. I raced a '96 Nissan Maxima, ran those for 2 years. Then when I was 12, we made the jump into a full sized late model.
So John, have you ever had to pull him over?
We couldn't catch him.
You tried, but
even in his go-kart, he was.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so you're starting out at 5, and you're winning these races, all through your preteen, well before preteen years, and so now you get to 16. You go up to Jacksonville to take your test. Were you nervous?
I wasn't nervous about the test itself. I'd done some preparing. My main worry was the eye test. Mm-hmm. So I was lucky enough to pass it and got my license first trip up there.
Yeah, that would be embarrassing if you're winning all these championships and then all of a sudden you go to take your test to get your driver's license.
I wasn't worried about that. I was more worried about my dad having to pull my dad out twice from work to go take me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know your dad, and that wouldn't be fun. Yeah, he's done a little driving himself, hasn't he?
Yes, sir. He raced. He started racing when he was about 18, and he raced for 26 years. So
cool. So what's the goal here? Is NASCAR where you hope to end up?
Absolutely. My ultimate goal is definitely the highest form of NASCAR or highest form of professional racing I can get to. My goal is to go up there and show that I can compete, and hopefully one day I'll end up in the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
That would be nice. I'd love to go see that display when you're there. Be at the induction.
No Indy cars?
Highest form of motorsport I can reach. Indy form isn't exactly it's not what I envision, but if I get the opportunity, I will be more than happy to take it and go see.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go.
All right, so you've driven it a whole bunch. I'm sure, obviously, the competitive races and the dirt tracks and stuff. What are some other tracks that you may have had the chance to drive a car on?
I've raced all across the Southeast, from go-karts to the front-wheel drive cars to the full-size dirt late models. Mm-hmm. And asphalt-wise, we raced a little bit of go-karts on asphalt in Huntsville, but we went to Montgomery Motor Speedway, which is a half-mile paperclip shaped track, and I raced a 4-cylinder up there, and I was racing against guys who've been racing 10, 15, 20 years. In my first race out there, I was fortunate enough to pick up a win.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't want to just embarrass you and put you back in your place here, but I did beat Jeff Bodine in a race.
Jeff Bodine?
Yes, I did.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Now, it's a remote control race cars, but still, hey.
Well, the way I see it, it was a race, and he was Jeff Bodine.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't have to feed his ego. You just don't have to.
But, with all the success you've had, it hasn't all been great, has it? There was a time a few years ago when you had a pretty bad wreck, didn't you?
Yes, sir. In November 2014, we was in Phoenix City, Alabama, racing at a race called the National 100. It's our biggest race of the year. Over 300 cars attend it every year. We was down there. We was racing on a Sunday morning, and me and another car made contact, and I went off the track. Well, my car ended up barrel rolling 5-6 times, and at speeds of 130 miles an hour. So I was very fortunate enough to be able to walk away from it.
Yeah, you don't look any worse for the wear. And so seatbelt made the difference, didn't it?
Absolutely. my seat belts were one of the main things that kept me held down into my seat, along with all the other safety components that are in the car.
And that led to some great work that you've been doing around the state of Alabama, and we want to talk about that. We need to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some good things that Cruz has been doing off the track here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Jonathan Davis. Mr. Davis, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted on a failure to appear for child support, the face of a deadbeat dad. And meet Richard Tucker. Mr. Tucker, last known to be living in Mumford. He's wanted for failure to appear on possession of marijuana. Second. And this is Marlon Story. Mr. Story, last known to be living in Lincoln. He's wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. And have a look at Bradley Stallings. Mr. Stallings, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted on a probation revocation for theft of property. Second, and illegal possession of prescription drugs. And this is Thomas Jones. Mr. Jones, last known to be living in Jacksonville. He's wanted for failure to appear on child support. Another face of another deadbeat dad. And last up for our lineup this week, Kimberly Harris. Miss Harris, last known to be living in Talladega. She's wanted for bond revocations on possession of marijuana. Second, use and possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of a controlled substance ×3. And that's our lineup for this week. If you know the whereabouts of these folks, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers. That number 256-238-1414.
All right, we'll have some more crime fighting for you to do in just a few minutes. We will have the Crime Stoppers segment of the show, talk about some property crimes that we need your help in solving. But right now we're talking with Cruz Skinner, a professional driver at the age of 16 and been driving since you were 5, winning all kinds of, over, how many were you?
360 wins.
360
How many races
wins.
have you been in to win 365 races?
This year we ran 60 races, and last year we ran about 65. So, in the full-size cars, we'll run 60 to 70 every year.
Wow. So you're like at what, batting 500? Is that what that is? Maybe 550 or something?
I haven't done it this year, but last year our winning percentage was 25%.
It's not bad.
That's
all right. So you're still finding time for school, right?
Yes, sir, absolutely. I go to Oxford High School. I'm a junior there, and I'll get done with school. I've got a class at the Gadsden State Ayers campus. I'll do that. I'll go home, go to the body shop and work, or go to the race car shop and work. Then I'll go home and hit the books hard and get my homework, studying, projects, get all that done. And
you're also out there talking about what saved your life there with the seatbelt in that accident we were just talking about, and what is saving a lot of other people's lives. You're helping out a lot throughout the state with the Click It or Ticket campaign, aren't you?
Yes, sir. One of the best things that have come from the crash at Phoenix City was being able to be the spokesperson for the 2015 Click It or Ticket campaign. So in 2015, I was fortunate enough to do the commercials, the billboards, all that, and that was just a whole lot of fun. And last year and this year, I've traveled around to elementary schools and high schools across the state of Alabama and talked to kids from kindergarten to seniors in high school about seatbelts and the importance of them.
Yeah, my brother was in an accident years ago, and he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and he actually lived because of not having his seatbelt on. He was thrown out of the car. If he'd still been in the car, he would have died. But he recognized that he was one of those really small exceptions, and ever since then, he's always worn his seatbelt because he knows the statistics say he shouldn't be walking around.
That is a very, very rare occasion.
Right. And so he learned his lesson from that accident and always wears his seatbelt now, as we all should, and I appreciate the work that you're out doing that, and the sheriff does as well. And we've got this nice recognition here for you for your dedication and time devoted to promoting the importance of seatbelt use to the state of Alabama in the Click It or Ticket campaign. We want to give you this nice little commendation, and thank you for your work, Cruz.
Thank you. I appreciate this, and I also have something for y'all as well.
Okay. All right, nice.
It's Christmas time.
Okay, here we go.
Oh
wait, he outdid us. These are framed, John.
Yeah, these are a couple plaques to make y'all honorary pit crew members of the Skinner Motorsports crew. So one weekend, we're going to have to get both y'all out to the track and see if we can't get y'all to change a tire too.
There we go. So you can change a tire faster. I bet I can change a tire faster than you, John.
No, I think I got you on that.
There you go. We got a competition already.
Well, thank you very much for this. What's the, when you're talking to these kids, and you can do this in a way that John and I and the sheriff can't do because we're just old, boring, grown-up people. You're their age, and you're out there driving professionally, so they're going to listen to you in a way they won't listen to us. What are you telling them, and what kind of reaction are you getting?
That is one of the things. That's one of the reasons why I was chosen to be the spokesperson. I'm different from what you usually see, whether it's a teacher, the parent, or the state trooper, or this guy over here, unfortunately. I'm just kidding, but it's a different perspective. Children will see somebody their age saying it, and they can relate to it more. Mm-hmm. But really, I'm just out there spreading the word on how important seatbelts are, giving some statistics on them, and really, if I can save one life from this entire 3 years, it'll be all worth it.
Absolutely. All right. So, what's up next on the Cruz Skinner Racing Team calendar?
Right now, we're in the off season, and our first race will be the first weekend of January. So it's coming fast. We'll race all year this year, probably close to 70 races, if we're able to. Hopefully, sometime soon in the future, we'll be running a couple ARCA races.
Oh, that'll be fun. Okay, so Sunday afternoon, the race is on. Who are you cheering for?
All my life since I was little, I was always a Jeff Gordon fan. So I grew up watching Jeff Gordon. He was always my idol. He's now retired, so right now, I'm in.
You're available. They need to be recruiting you to be one of their fans.
I'm in between right now, but there's definitely a lot of young talent out there going up their routes. Hendrick Motorsports has 3 new drivers this year, but Kyle Larson, I'm looking up to him right now. He's come from my area of racing. He grew up racing dirt, and he's worked his way all the way up to the top level and won races.
Awesome. Well, congratulations and good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Take care. All right. We're going to be back in just a second. We'll have our Crazy Criminal of the Week and the Crime Stoppers segment of Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask you to help our investigators with the following cases. First case, between November 21st and December 3rd. Home on Cross Creek Trail was burglarized. 3 handguns, an Xbox system with Xbox games and Japanese currency were stolen from that location. And sometime between December 4th and December 7th, a home on U.S. Highway 78 East was burglarized. They got away with an antique hand crank phone, copper tubing, battery charger, and an extension cord. And last up on your caseload this week, between December 8th and December 11th, a red Lincoln welder was taken from a business on Highway 431 in Alexandria. And that's your Crime Stoppers cases this week. If you have any information on these cases, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers. That number, 256-238-1414. Remember, we want your information and not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Our Crazy Criminal of the Week, John, this week is a lady up in Long Island. She got in trouble for some marijuana possession.
It happens in Long Island.
She answered her summons and went to the courthouse. Apparently, maybe they had a lot of vehicles already parked there. She was having trouble finding. I don't know. For whatever reason, she parked in the space reserved for the chief of police.
Oops.
And decided that I guess she needed to calm herself down before she went in or whatever. Chief shows up. Excuse me, you're in my parking spot. And she rolls down the window and the smoke billows out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He might have forgiven the parking in his space if it weren't for the pot smoke, but
he might have. He might have. Being Long Island, there was probably an interesting conversation that went on there. What are you doing in my parking place?
So yeah, if you were answering your summons and going to the courthouse, that's not a good place to to bring pot in your car
Yeah.
or to park in the wrong space.
Correct. Don't draw attention to yourself. Oh dear.
It's all about making bad decisions, and you don't have to follow one up with another. You get caught making a bad decision, you know, it happens to all of us. Learn from it and improve yourself.
That's correct. Don't keep doing the same thing, or even different versions of the same thing.
Right. All right, that's all the time that we have for this week. We will be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup or in the chief of police or sheriff's parking spot.
Yes.
On Calhoun County's Most Wanted.